Anybody watching right now, we are doing our first season live stream of Carolina Outdoor Magazine TV Live. I'm waiting for one of our guests to come on here, Nick Jones from the Bottom Feeders Fishing Club. Then we'll get started about 8 o'clock. You can got one viewer. Don't know who you are, but got two viewers. You guys, we're just getting started here. This season's Carolina Outdoor Magazine TV Live. I'm waiting for one of our guests to come on in. And if you've never done one of these before, you can comment and ask us questions on the right. I believe it's probably on the right side of your screen. There's a chat group, and you can ask us questions from there if you would like. Tonight, we will be talking about the Bottom Feeders Fishing Club and catfishing. So we're just waiting for Mr. Nick Jones to show up. So if you just be patient, he's got about 2 minutes to sign in, Nick. He should be coming on here any minute. I'm making that prediction. But this year we expect we're going to have a really good season this year. We've got a lot of new team members that have come on to Carolina Outdoor Magazine TV. We got our new co-host, Jim Webb, who's going to be a big addition to the team. And also, we've got some new pro staff members. Here's Nick. We've got some new pro staff members. We have Eric Stanberry, and we also have Victor Lynch. So, Nick, how you doing? I was just telling people just to kind of stand by and be patient that you were signing on, and you're here.
Hey, Jim, doing well. Thanks for having us tonight. How are you?
I'm doing just great. I'm ready for another season of Carolina Outdoor Magazine TV Live. Nick Jones, for anybody who doesn't know, is the president of the Bottom Feeders Fishing Club in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And he's doing some pro staff stuff for us, helping us out a little bit, giving us some tips and some hints here and there when times are hard on the lake. And they do a lot of fishing down that way, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Bottom Feeders Fishing Club to get everybody a little more acquainted to what is going on. And then after that, we're going to go in and we're going to talk about some catfishing and some catfishing techniques, which Nick and a lot of his team are very familiar with. You got anybody coming on with us tonight, Tim? I mean, Nick?
Yeah, I've got Justin Grell and Tyler Barber. Some of the guys that were out this weekend are actually club members and stationed here in town. And they went out this weekend, went fishing, had some pretty good luck on the water.
Cool. Good, good. They got some big fish?
Yeah, some pretty decent sized fish. I believe biggest was in the upper 30s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, well, compared to what some of you guys catch, that's not really not a wow factor. But I'm going to tell you what, I'm not going to complain about a 30-pound fish any day.
Yeah, exactly. With the conditions, the way the river's been and the way the fish have been biting, that's definitely an improvement.
Let's talk a little bit, Nick, about the Bottom Feeders Fishing Club. Some folks that have signed in here may not know about the Bottom Feeders Fishing Club. But before we do you have your group chat up on the right side of your screen?
That's what I was sitting here looking for.
If you go way over to the left.
Yep, I've got it up here now.
Okay, that way, if anybody wants to join in and ask you questions, they can just ask you a question, and we'll be glad to try to answer it the best we can. Anyways, let's talk about the Bottom Feeders Fishing Club. Maybe a little history. I know the history, but a lot of folks out there that have tuned in probably don't know the history of the Bottom Feeders Fishing Club. And how many members you guys have now?
I'd say as of right now, we got about 25 members.
Okay, so you get a fair amount of them. Most of them, which I met the last time you had a tournament down there.
Yeah, I was gonna say you met a majority of them.
What's that, Nick? Lost you for a second. Try it again. Nick?
I've got you back.
Okay. Folks, this is a live stream. Now, for you those who aren't familiar with a live stream, I guess I want to apologize right now before anything happens. And if something's going to happen, it will, that's for sure. So if we should leave the air for some reason, we'll try to remedy it that real quick and get it right back to you. But go ahead. What was I didn't? You got 25 members, and I said, you know, I've met probably most of them at the Fishing Provisions tournament that you had here a few months back.
Yes, yeah, you met most of them at the tournament. I believe there were some of them that weren't able to make it, but I mean, in comparison to a year ago, me and our vice president Aaron, we had fished a couple tournaments together locally, and have decided to start a fishing club to pretty much just build a base of people to fish with on a regular basis. There was a need for it in the area, and then on top of that, it spawned. We started fishing a couple of charity events and seeing a good you know, platform to try and help the community and give back, and also, you know, do what we were trying to do initially by just, you know, getting a bigger group of people to fish.
Right. Right. Where now, you guys, you're down there on the Cape Fear River, but you don't fish just the Cape Fear River. What are some of the places down that way you do fish other than the Cape Fear River area?
A couple of our guys fish up on Lake Gaston. One mainly, Sean Core, he fishes up that way a lot. It's more local to his area. And then a lot of the guys we've got, some of them fish on the Neuse River. But more or less, I mean, anywhere we get a chance to go, you know how that is.
Yeah. I know that Cape Fear River area down there, you know, back here, I guess it was probably August, I think, when Hurricane Matthew come through, August, September, somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
It was devastated down there, and some of you folks might have seen some of the footage and some of the show footage that we did down there. You know, the river's probably 15 to 20 feet at any given location down there. But at that time, because of all the rain they had in the Fayetteville area, it was like 30 to 50 feet above, you know, above normal pool, and it virtually changed the river, and it virtually changed the structure that these guys were used to fishing in down there. So I know that tournament we were at down there, other than the fact that it was a cold front tournament, and it got really cold that night. It was also they had to fish and contend with a river that a lot of these guys just didn't know anymore.
Yeah, yeah. The detail, I mean, just a lot. I mean, down to every inch of the river has changed. I mean, it's going to be a process for a lot of people to relearn. You know,
Right.
holes, and just going out there. We went out Friday, and we're kind of just checking things out with the depth finder and looking at different areas, and a lot of it's changed. I mean, there's a lot of sand movement here on the bottom. Most of the river areas through here, other than like a little section through the Raven Rock area in Lillington, is rock bottom, but everything else is all sand. So, you know, any kind of swift moving water is going to change it around. A lot of the sandbars have moved, and, you know, where there were holes, they moved another, you know, 100 yards down. And
yeah, I remember
which in return, you know, changes where the bait fish are, changes where the catfish are.
I remember you showing me a couple areas there that just sandbars and stuff that just weren't there anymore. Let's talk benefits real quick.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of benefits you guys you gonna have? What kind of benefits you got coming up?
We have.
You might as well go ahead and let folks know.
Yeah, we've had our two that we've had this year, which was the Fishing for Vision Catfish Tournament, which was a benefit for the National Federation of the Blind of Harnett County. And then this year in the works, we've got a tournament that we're going to try and do in August which will be a veterans tournament. We'll pretty much link a captain with a veteran, and there'll be captain veteran teams paired up. And so we're working with a lot of that, working with a couple of different groups down in Charlotte, just trying to get something for a boys' home down there. So there's a lot of new things in the work this year. You know, with the members and having more help and everything, is just growing on a daily basis. Like I said, I mean, we went in a year's time to 2,000 followers almost on Facebook, 25 club members on a regular basis, having an event pretty much every month, and you know, growing every month. So looking forward to what 2017 brings.
Now, do you guys get involved in the St. Jude's tournament that's coming up here in May?
Yeah, they've got a big fishing to fight cancer tournament that the Swamp Boys organization puts on. That's a local group here in Fayetteville, and they've been doing that, I believe, like 12 years now. Over 12 years. I know last year this one tournament brought $15,000 to the St. Jude's, but I believe in the time that they've been doing it, I believe the numbers were like $1.25 million is what they've raised for St. Jude's in the time being that they've been doing. Because it's not just the Fishing to Fight Cancer tournament. There's a lot of other events through the year that also culminate to create that, you know, one larger entity, the Fishing to Fight Cancer. But it's all proceeds are for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And that's really where a lot of us spawned fishing together. A lot of us fished that tournament, and we were all from the same area, but there was no, you know, real meetup time or anything other than that one event going on per year, you know. So there was nothing, you know, there was a need for that. And you could tell just by meeting the other guys, and you know how it is, once you get out and you get a group of guys fishing together, it's kind of hard to stop.
Right. Well, that's one thing, you know, when I had met you, you know, we started initially talking on Facebook, and, you know, we hooked up to go down and do a show, and then we started talking about other things. But that's one of the first things that impressed me. Unlike a lot of clubs that I know, you know, you guys, you do fish a lot of private clubs amongst private tournaments amongst yourself. But what impressed me about the Bottom Feeders Fishing Club folks is the fact that they do a lot of tournaments for benefits for people that are in need of help, and for whatever it might be. I mean, I know when the flood was there, when Hurricane Matthew came through in the flood, when you had the flood down there, you were constantly every day just about going out, giving out water and helping people clean up and doing things. And that's what really impressed me about you know, one thing about your club is that you were out there to help people and that type of thing. So,
well, that's
anything else
about for us? Like I said, that's really how a lot of us met, was fishing these benefit tournaments. And I mean, just the group of guys that we've come across in the past year, you can't ask for a better group of guys, you know, that will drop what they're doing. We have one of the guys who's fished with us, who's family of one of our members, who, I mean, he took his whole crew down to Lumberton and set up, and we're feeding people there and stuff like that. You know, took his whole In Too Deep Construction. They went down there and took his whole crew and you know, just doing what they can to help out. And it's just meeting people.
exactly.
To me, yep. It influences others to do the same thing, and kind of the way we were influenced, and the guys who taught us along the years fishing. And, you know, to me,
right.
it's a passed along thing. I mean, we definitely, you know, support taking the kids out, and that's another thing we like to try and get. You know, at our tournaments, we let all the children under 15 fish for free, remote taking a kid fishing and stuff like that. Because I mean, that's how all of us started. You know, if it wasn't for people taking the time to take us out and get us interested in it.
Right. Just for anybody who's just tuned in, you're watching the first show of the new season for Carolina Outdoor Magazine TV Live. We do a live stream. We're going to try to eventually get up to where we can do one every week. And but right now, every other week is what we're going to be kind of pushing toward. But we're going to be doing this and having a special guest on every time we come on, hopefully, and we're going to try to teach a lot of folks a lot of different things out there about, you know, hunting, fishing, anything to do with it has to do with the outdoors. But tonight's guest is Nick Jones from the Bottom Feeders Fishing Club, and I just like to refresh that every once in a while so that anybody who's joined in new knows what's going on. Now, probably a lot of times you're seeing me look over here. That's because Nick is over here on the monitor and the camera's right there. So that's why you're probably seeing me turning away from the camera all the time. But we're going to get into start talking about a little bit about catfishing. And I think I know you well enough to say that probably catfishing is one of your favorite things that you like to do.
Absolutely.
I like to do it all. But you know, I want to tell you what, there ain't nothing like getting a big old 30, 40, 50-pound catfish on the end of a rod. And
yeah, me and you had joked before about the size of the hooks we use. But, you know, there's catfishing and then there's hog hunting. You know, when you're out trying to chase them big boys, after you've been, you know, ripped off and let down and had a couple hooks broke off, you don't make that mistake
exactly
1 or 2 times, because that kind of haunts you in your sleep at night.
you want to use the size hook. I believe, and I think one thing I try to tell folks is that you want to use the size hook and the size tackle for the type of fish you're targeting. If you're going out there and you're going after 3-pound, 5-pound catfish, you don't need a big hook. But that right there is a number 10. I call it a J hook, and that's similar to that Mad Catter hook that you guys use. But I think you're using something bigger than a 10, aren't you?
The Mad Catters right now are a 10, but they've made a HD version of the Mad Catter. I've got one right here in my hand. But let's see. But yeah, they just come off a pre-sale only a couple months ago. They only been on the market a little bit. But this is the Mad Catter HD, which is, I mean, you ain't bending that joker. You know,
you're not going to bend them hooks, no.
But like you said, when you're targeting that size fish, I mean, you definitely want to upgrade to, you know, like you said, some of the smaller fish. You know, it'd definitely be reasonable to use a 5 and a 6, you know, style hook.
You know, we're not saying you're not going to be able to catch a big fish on lighter tackle.
Yeah.
But you have a better chance of losing them on lighter tackle.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, is just upping your odds there. Because I mean, you know,
exactly,
you want to lose a fish regardless of you know, what the scenario is. But
right. I mean, I've caught 60-pound flatheads on stuff, you know, that I use river fishing for 6-pound catfish, you know, and held them on. But you know, when you get a fish on that heavy, if you just settle down and work your drag right and work your rod right and don't horse them up, your odds are going to be a whole lot better. What kind of other, now, you know, we're talking basically this kind of fishing that these guys do down there is river fishing. And I love to river fish, but I like to drift fish too. So I guess, you know, you'll never just satisfy me when it comes to fishing, but you know,
yeah, to me that's what keeps us going back, is, you know, the monotony, or breaking up the monotony. We don't ever just do one kind of fishing or anything.
Right. Nick, I don't know if it's your audio or if it's mine. Hold on here a minute. Your audio just came in really good for a minute and then it died out. I don't know. Talk to me.
All right. What about now?
I can hear you. Now it's good and loud.
Okay. What about now? Is that better?
Perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, it's up there really good now.
Okay. Well,
everybody else
I can actually get rid of the earphones then.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I got you on live.
It sounds great like that.
Okay. Awesome. Good deal.
Go ahead.
All right. Where are we at?
We are at fishing equipment, where we are at 8:15 in the evening on YouTube, talking with Carolina Outdoor Magazine TV and the Bottom Feeders Fishing Club. That's where we're at. No, we left off with talking about the proper tackle and the proper equipment for catching big catfish versus small catfish, and I was asking leading up to you guys down there, you fish a lot of river water because that's what you have in that area. And, you know, where in rivers you're going to be fishing holes and snags and structure. It's more or less a structure-oriented place where you're fishing down there.
Yeah, especially now. We were checking out a couple of the spots here. There's actually, I'm not sure the dates, but there was a log jam that's been here in the river from talking to people the other day. You know, they said that certain log jam has been there since they were a child, and they're of, you know, upper 20s now. So the log jam's been there for years, but they've the Corps has come in and cleaned it up, and you know, just being out there, all the structure on the bottom of the river down there, all the deadwood that's laying on the bottom, and it's all up and down the river. So like you said, you know, the structure's a big obstacle in the river, and definitely could be frustrating. But you just gotta, you know, like I said, that's why there's no one style of fishing, more or less. But as long as, you know, tackle wise, one of the biggest rigs we do use, I got tied up, I was going to show you, is one of the Mad Catter hooks, but we snell the hooks on, you know, the basic snell. And it's pretty much a Santee rig. And this little guy right here is one of the Versa Rattlers. I think you got a pack of them with you. And but this little guy here is one of the Versa Rattlers. But pretty much you put it on the Santee rig in between your hook and your slip bobber on the Santee rig, and it's supposed to mimic bait fish. And that's one of the many tools that's offered by Whisker Seeker. And, you know, something else we've tried that's kind of, it's one of them scenarios. Certain scenarios it works a little better than others, but it's definitely, you know, something to add in there. But it's the basic Santee rig, and then above it, you know, to a big heavy duty swivel that they also make. And then from there on, we go to, you know, a regular, pretty much like a Carolina rig from here on up.
Right. That except for that rattle, that's basically what they call the Santee rig, which originated in Santee Cooper Lakes. But, you know, let's be honest about the rattles, Nick. Okay. You know, that's how these rattles come. Okay, they come in 5 to a pack, and the reason Nick uses them is because, you know, he just can't find the right bait. So what he's got to do, he can't catch him without a rattle, so he tries rattling up his catfish. Is what he does.
Yeah, bait is definitely the trick around here. You know, always having fresh bait. That's a fisherman's you know, worst nightmare sometimes.
Not having the right bait is the worst nightmare. And when we're talking about bait, we're talking about chunks of bait as big as this spool of line right here. Brim as big as my hand is what a lot of these guys use. White perch and things like that. White perch, actually, I think white perch is a fantastic bait for flatheads.
Yeah, I know a lot of the guys around here use you know, live white perch for the flatheads in the summertime, and I believe in the wintertime here, I know as of lately, I know people hadn't really been catching that many flatheads here in the Cape Fear. Not sure about other river systems. I think that some of the guys in the Neuse even have seen a slowdown in the Neuse River of the flathead bites right now. So, but that's, you know, that's kind of what I've seen. I'm not sure, but as far as the Cape Fear, I know I've seen, you know, the blues have kind of turned on in the past month or so in comparison to previous months since the storm. And with the warm front we had that come through this weekend, some of the guys I talked to you about earlier, Justin Grail and Tyler Barber, they were out all night last night and had pretty good luck out on the river. So it seemed like the warm front had turned the bite on a little bit last night.
Turned the bite on a little bit. Yeah. As far as boats go, now does a person need to have a real fancy boat to go?
No, we've got some guys that I mean, from one end to the other of the scale of the spectrum. You know, some guys have to get out there, you know, for the weekend warrior. You know, to me, I recommend having something that you feel comfortable in, and to me, that's the main thing. Whether that's a small boat or a big boat, it's all about being comfortable. But a lot of us have 16 to 18 foot John boats. something. Most of our boats are aluminum and stuff for the river. You know, a few guys have some of the fiberglass boats, but it's just one of the things with the structure that's out there. You got to be real careful. I mean, we were running up river the other day, and you know, there's just logs sticking straight out of the middle of the river, and you never know what's coming down river. So, you know, in those river systems, it's a whole lot different than a lake where you can get out there and go wide open. And in the river, you really, you know,
got to read the river.
Yeah, and getting in a hurry is just not one of them things you need to do out there. So, you know, the bigger the boat, sometimes that can hinder you in some of them places because, you know, I feel like some of the smaller boats, you can really get in the areas that you want to be in.
Exactly. Well, you know, that's really the way it is even with the rivers up here. You know, they change on a weekly basis or storm to storm, they change. You know, where you can run one place up here, you know, this week, next week, there might be a log in your way. And you really got to be careful because on these rivers, and I'm sure it's that way down there, as the river rises and drops down, when the river rises up, it's pulling all kinds of stuff in from the shoreline, tires and buckets and, you know, logs, and that stuff is real easy to hit if you're not paying attention.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as far as bait, do you guys use mainly as perch as prevalent up there in the Catawba River area that it is down here?
I use whatever I can catch, Nick.
Yeah.
Shad works really good. Okay. It really depends on the lake I'm fishing. Right? I try to use, and I'm sure this is the same with you, I try to use what is in the particular the particular body of water I'm fishing.
Absolutely.
White perch, brim. I use a lot of that. Shad. When you can catch it, I'll use a lot of shad. Now, if I was to go down to a place like Clark's Hill, I would add herring, or Sandy Cooper. I would add herring to the list because them baits are all in them lakes where they're not in up here. So,
absolutely.
And I use a lot of herring when I'm in them lakes down there in South Carolina. Just because in a way it's more readily available.
Yeah, I'd say Santee Cooper's one of my favorite places to go. Absolutely, for sure.
When you went to Santee, when you were down there, how did you fish it? I was going to ask you if you ever done.
We actually we actually drove out to some of the floating structure that's out there. You know how in the middle of the lake there, you've got some of you'll have trees coming out of the middle of the lake, and we had our best luck around the floating structure up there. Pretty much not necessarily anchoring, but just drifting by a lot of the structure.
So you fished the upper lake?
Yeah, the upper lake above 95 there, Lake Marion.
Right, yeah. We used to fish Lake Marion when I started fishing down there a lot. And then we moved to the lower lake, and I guess it was because we found, better places to catch fish or more fish. I don't know. There again, it's just where you want to fish at. But I just like drifting down there a whole lot better than upper lake. It was a lot easier to drift down there.
Gotcha.
But what kind of weight? Now, I want to talk about weights, all right? I know you're using 4, 5, 6 ounce weights. Now, I believe in a lot of circumstances, like you have a thing that's I call a river weight, and it looks like that right there.
Yeah, that's what we use there, the no slide sinkers.
Okay.
No rolls.
Now, right. And I use that out in the rivers because when you cast that out, it's going to lay flat on the bottom, and it's not going to get hung up as well, as bad, okay? Yeah. Now, also, I like an egg sinker, okay? But I won't use that in a river unless that's all I've got, because it'll roll. When you cast that out, that sinker will roll, moving your bait down there, and it'll get hung up if you cast parallel to the boat. So I mainly use this for drift fishing, because with drift fishing, you're moving, and this thing is bouncing off the bottom, scuffing up the bottom, with a little bit of mud and stuff like that, and that just helps the bite a little bit better. So, and as far as weight goes, you want to use a weight depending on the conditions you're fishing. and the speed your boat is going, or the speed that the current is going. So there's a lot of variables. You just don't want to go out and grab an ounce sinker and think that for most times down there in the Cape Fear River it's going to work good.
Yeah.
Because an ounce won't even hold your line. An ounce won't even hold 60 feet of line and 30 feet of water drift fishing on Santee.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially right now. I mean, you know, with the lack of rain that we've had and the current, you know, is down to nothing. Like you said, you could be out there with a 1 or 2 ounce weight to where in the same area with, you know, mass amounts of water coming through, you could be using an 8 ounce weight. So it's definitely something that you gotta, you know, it's another thing. You can't have enough in your tackle box.
Exactly. You can't have enough. Well, right, because you're going to lose a lot of them too.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah.
What kind of
size you're going to
go
need?
ahead.
Well, I was just saying, yeah, just not knowing what size you're going to need. You know, just having the variety helps.
Right. What kind of different varieties of catfish? I know we've asked these questions before, but a lot of our folks out there don't know. But what different types of catfish do you guys have down there in the Cape Fear River?
We've got the channel cats, blue catfish, and flatheads.
Okay.
And I believe there are some like bullheads.
And you've got some real stinky darn bowfins too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They got a lot of gar and bowfin in there.
Gar, yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that. I know that day we went out back in, when was it? First end of August or whatever. That day me and you went out. It was gars all over the place. And usually when the gars are out, the catfishing's off.
Now I know another bait you guys use down there, because I know I went in there to Riverside Bait and Tackle and talked with Brian a little bit in there.
Yep.
And you guys use eels down there. Now, is eel common in them rivers?
It is. I've actually seen eel caught in the casting net while out, you know, throwing cast net, trying to get shad and stuff. I've seen eels pulled up in there, and down near the Wilmington area and those areas, I've actually heard of the guys fishing for them for with drop shots, and you know, down there actually fishing for them and catching their own eel. And then some of the, like you said, some of the local bait shops carry them, but it's a game changer down here. Sometimes when the bite goes off on everything else, they'll be tearing them eel up.
That because that's a bait I've never used. I've never used an eel.
Yeah, they actually just cut them in little chunks, probably about like a Vieni weenie.
So you don't put them in there; they're not live.
No,
like
if you were to put a live one on there, he'd have your stuff so wrapped up. But cut them into little chunks and barely put the hook in them, and they fish with them just like that, like almost like a little chunk of hot dog.
I'll be darned. Okay, well.
Yeah, that was something, like you said, I had never heard of it back home when, you know, growing up on Lake Wiley and Lake Norman, I had never heard of using eel. I guess down here in the rivers, it's a little bit different.
Seems to be pretty common. If anybody has any questions you'd like to ask Nick, just go ahead and go to your chat message box down there at the bottom and drop us some questions if you'd like to ask us some questions. That's what we're here for, and we'll be glad to try to answer them. Don't be afraid to get involved with us. We would certainly like to have a few questions. Are you going to have a couple of guests stop by? Yeah,
I've got Justin Grell and Tyler Barber, two of our club members that went out this weekend, that are here with us.
They're waiting there now to be on. They're waiting there now to be on TV.
They're here waiting.
Well, we need to go ahead and get them on if they're that anxious.
Right on. Well, definitely. I'm going to go ahead and let you chat with them for a little bit, Jim. I'll talk to you here in a few.
All right.
There you go. Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
All right. We met. I remember when Nick told me who it was, I remembered who you were.
Yes.
But you guys had a pretty good evening here the other day?
We did.
Like yesterday, I think it was?
Yeah, we did last evening. We put on the water, was at about 2:30 in the afternoon, and then get off till 4 o'clock this afternoon.
So that was a day trip?
Well, day and night.
Day and night. Okay. All right.
We stay
Okay.
out all night.
Well, what did you catch, guys?
Well, we caught 6. And our first one, or our biggest one, was just right about 38 pounds, and the smallest one was 5, and a couple 20s. So it was a great night fishing.
Okay.
Every time we tried to lay down, it seems like a rod was going off.
What, Tyler? What did you do?
What I do, I just
Did you help?
And we made sure everything was lit up to know where he was casting and where each side. We made a contraption last night to keep the dew off of us. Put the beamy top up and a big tarp over the top of it. So it made everything challenging last night to cast all the baits in the right areas.
Did you get into rain last night?
No, we didn't get any rain.
Okay. Okay. I didn't think you guys got it yet.
Yeah, it got real foggy last night though.
Well, I know what that's like because you guys fished in that back here 2 months ago in the other tournament.
Oh yeah. We didn't get very far in that tournament.
no.
It ended up.
No, but you weighed in, didn't you? I don't
We
remember.
Well, we weighed in. We took 3rd place. We just didn't.
Yeah.
Far enough. Far.
I'm still editing that thing out, guys. Sooner or later it'll be on, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't have had to ask that question if I had gotten to that point yet, would I? But what kind of a boat do you use? I know what kind of a boat you use because I've seen it, but tell the folks what kind of a boat you use out there, guys.
We have a 20-foot center console low roughneck, and we all have a Yamaha 115 4-stroke on the back.
And that's aluminum boat.
It is.
You prefer that over fiberglass?
Oh yes, every day.
And the next question is going to be why?
Why? It can take a beat.
Lighter.
Oh, lighter, and it can take a beating. You can pull up on the bank or stuff like that.
It could probably take a log strike a whole lot better than the fiberglass boat could.
Oh yeah.
Right.
We had a little run-in, I think Friday it was. We had a pretty close call. If we had a glass boat, we might have been swimming home.
You what?
I said if we had a fiberglass boat, we'd probably been swimming home.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, we don't want to hear that. That's for sure. That can turn a good fishing trip into a bad one real quick.
Oh
yeah. That's for sure. You guys are members of the Bottom Peters Fishing Club.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you've been for how long?
I think close to about 7 months. I think, when was it?
August,
It was
Fallen Outdoors tournament.
Yeah, right after the Fallen Outdoors tournament. That was
okay. All right. Okay.
August.
That's a tournament thing there that RDOR runs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's involved with that group. What kind of information do you think you can give folks out there who are starting out catfishing for the first time? You guys had to start out like everybody else. What kind of information? Say, like I was going to get ready to start catfishing for the first time. What do I need for rods and reels? What do you guys use?
Well, actually, I got one of my rods back here. We started out on a budget, using anything we could find a deal on. But we started out, we had some low price rods and reels from like Academy Sports and Walmart. And we lost a few fish, and we've caught some nice fish on them rods too. But we kind of had a few experiences which taught us, that we needed to upgrade our equipment some. We didn't really have rod holders either, but as soon as we got rod holders on our boats, it made life 10 times easier. But this is kind of what we have here. We've got a Big Cat Fever medium heavy action with a Bill Garcia C3 Catfish Special. It's kind of fancy, but we have never had any issues out of these. Then we got our Mad Catter hooks, as Nick was advertising. And we also switched up a little bit on our weight, on how we do our weights. We turned to this, it's kind of like a barrel right here. I don't know if you can see it. It's yellow.
Yeah,
Kind of brings to the wall.
Just hold it up there to the screen.
Do what now?
Hold up.
Yeah, that's right. Just hold up the screen. It'll show up pretty good. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
We just recently changed to that. We were just using the no roll sinkers, but I like this because you can change the weights out real easy and fast, and it makes it easier carrying back in and out of the house. You ain't carrying
Right.
that.
They use them same things for outriggers when guys are trolling.
Yeah.
And what it does, it makes it easy for them to let their lines out on the different planer boards and stuff.
Right.
And I've seen guys use them. That's a real good idea.
Yeah. And then,
Now, them Mad Catter rods. So a lot of people may not have ever heard of a Mad Catter rod.
well, it's Big Cat Fever.
Right. I'm sorry. The Mad Catter's the hooks. But anyhow, see, I told you, a lot of people never heard about them.
Yeah.
But anyways, I've seen them rods, and they got the cork handles. And they're a real heavy-duty rod, and they're just perfect for the type of fishing that you guys are doing.
Yeah, they're hard to beat. They've got videos on YouTube, where they deadlift a man with a forklift and a rod. And they're also a very sensitive rod to where, if you had a 1 or 2 pound fish down there going after your bait, you can definitely tell.
Right.
We had countless bites last night of just small fish that we could see the rods just going on and off.
Right. Right. All right. Well, Justin and Tyler, I appreciate you stopping by. Anything else you'd like to say? Invite people to join Bottom Feeders Fishing Club?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of good people that help you or help you learn and stuff. That's kind of how I did. We both did. We kind of just observed other people, and we weren't afraid to ask questions,
Right. You can't never learn enough whether you're hunting or fishing.
That's right.
There's always going to be somebody else out there who's got a little bit better idea or a different trick or a different technique that, people should try.
Oh, yeah. That's like one thing I was wanting to say, how we do night fishing, if we're planning on going to try to take a nap or something, to where sometimes we don't have lights on our rods, you can't see them.
Right.
We'll turn the clickers on our reels and then flip them in the free spool, and we'll hear that fish take that bait and run. That way, all we got to do is somebody wake up and start cranking away, and you reel that fish in.
Right. Yeah, that's a good idea. So you want to make sure then that your reel has a clicker on it. There's times out there when you're fishing at nighttime where you can go hours and not get a bite, and it goes by really slow. So if you're going to take, sleep a little bit, that's the best time to do it. And if you have a clicker on there, it lets you do it and wakes you up when you do get a strike.
Oh, yeah. And when you hear that thing going off, you get excited. Everybody's running for the rods.
Jumping around trying to figure out what rod's going out.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Been there and done that.
Yep.
I'll tell you what we used to do, because we couldn't go to sleep. When we were down on Santee, and we didn't want the fish to carry the line off into the trees. So what we'd do is we'd take on the end of the rod, and we'd take a little piece. We'd open the clicker up, open the bail up, so it free spool,
right,
and set the drag so the bait wouldn't free spool it, and we'd take and tie a little piece of tissue or something on the line at the end of the last eyelet.
Mm-hmm.
But you'd have to stay awake and watch it, because then what that would do is, when the fish got on, he'd go for a run. That piece of tissue would just, start headed out into the water. So yeah, that's the way we did it there when we first started out. Because like you said, you start out sometimes on a budget, and them ones with the clickers cost a little bit more money than the ones that don't.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we didn't purchase everything overnight. That's for sure. You know, you had a lot of saving up. But I will say that I would rather have these over the equipment I started out with, even though I still have it.
Oh yeah.
You know, for just memories. You know, looks. Hey, that's what I started out with.
Right, right. Well, I guess we all start out that way. I mean, you know, I'm a little older than you guys, and my first boat was an old wooden boat that I had found half sunk in a pond someplace, and I patched it up, and I had to do a lot of bailing when I wanted to use it. But that was my first boat, and
Yeah.
I couldn't have been any older than, I don't know, 12 or 13 years old. But you know, it was many a times I'm surprised I'm still around, didn't drown in the darn thing. That's how bad it was, but caught fish out of it.
Oh yeah. Well, that just makes it more fun.
All right. All right, guys. Well, listen, I appreciate you stopping by and chatting with us a little bit there. And I appreciate everything that you guys do in these tournaments. You know, and I appreciate it when we come down. You make us feel welcome down there and everything. And I look forward to coming down and filming with you guys and chatting with you and things like that. So we will probably be seeing you real soon here. And you guys take care, and I guess we'll just turn it back over to Nick, okay?
All right. You do the same. Thanks for having us.
Yep. Thank you.
You guys take care.
Oh, yeah, I'm good. All right, hey Jim, I'm back.
Okay. What, I guess probably, when's your next tournament? Isn't it the one in January you got coming up?
Yes, sir. We got one January 21st that's going to be going on at lock number 2 on the Cape Fear River system here, coming up from Wilmington. There's 3 locks before you get to us.
Okay.
And at lock number 2, which is around the Elizabethtown, it's right below Elizabethtown, headed back towards Wilmington. There's a lock there, and that's where we'll have our next tournament. There's an actual boat ramp beside the lock there.
I think that's the one that Bobby Bunnels has been after me to come fish with him, and I need to get back to him. I don't know yet. I think it's going to conflict with that duck hunt, but I don't know. And I know you asked me today about the date, and I haven't got it to you yet. I promise you, when we're done with this live stream, I'll get you them dates. But
yeah, I meant to tell you too, Justin. Justin's a fellow duck hunter, and
oh really?
He does a lot of duck hunting around in his travels back and forth to Tennessee and Missouri and whatnot. He's got a pretty good bit. Like a lot of our guys, you know, a lot of them, like you said, when it kind of goes hand in hand with the hunting and fishing. We've got a lot of guys this time of year who are kind of conflicted in whether should I go hunting or should I go fishing.
Right.
Either way, you know, it all just brings us. It's a common bond that everybody has. Being outdoors and stuff.
Exactly.
Like that. So it's just awesome. You know, the people that you meet.
I don't think I would enjoy doing just one thing.
Yeah.
I mean, some guys, and I know we've had them on our ProStaff team. They want to hunt and that's it. They don't want to, you know, I had a gentleman in here yesterday and his main passion is hunting. And there's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, we start out doing this show with just fishing. And I found out you can run out of things to do real quickly. And it made it really nice to start doing hunting back about 10, 12 years ago and filming them kind of shows because it gave us more of an audience and none of that, but it gave us more versatility on the show. Yeah.
And I think, you know, a lot of the people, you know, get confused. I got a lot of people that hit us up on Facebook and asking, you know, what should I use and this, that, and the other. And my advice to anyone that don't fish on a regular basis and only gets to go once a month, yeah, absolutely. You know, take what gear you can get your hands on and go.
And go.
That's what it's all about, because there's a lot of heartache and pain that comes with it. You know, the sitting out there and never catching anything that a lot of the guys don't see. You know, they see a bunch of the posts of the bigger fish and that a lot of these guys have, but they don't see, you know, the time and effort that these guys, you know, these guide services and stuff that you see out taking these people and these boys. I mean, they put in a lot of work and effort to make their customers happy and stuff like that. And
that's right. That's right, they do.
You really don't see that aspect of it. And so I just tell people, if you get to go, go. And, and we always invite anybody out to our tournaments. We've got a lot of guys who haven't. We've had gentlemen come in who some of the guys, we're close to Fort Bragg, so some of the guys that's come in, unfortunately, have to move to another station. They'll be stationed another place, so they've had to leave us. But they kind of they've brought in guys and said, hey, come fish these tournaments. And unfortunately, they'll have to leave, but then they pass along, 2 or 3 other members who've joined up with us and start fishing.
What was his name? Joe. I saw where Joe went out with Justin.
Yeah.
He got a few weeks ago. Got his first catfish, wasn't it?
Yeah, got his first catfish with some bananas in the boat. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Yeah, I've got a guy that we fish with down on Lake Murray, Jason Bennett from Jason Bennett's Guide Service. And he swears, do not bring bananas on the boat. So we brought some bananas on the boat. We didn't say anything. Well, we tried not to, but we didn't say anything, and we caught the heck out of stripers that night. And so I tried to set his mind at ease, that it didn't matter if we had bananas or not, but he still don't believe that, no bananas on the boat, it's bad luck. But I don't know what it is about bananas, but you don't bring bananas on a guide's boat.
I've always heard that. And somebody told me the other day, they said it's not necessarily fishing, it's the luck. But, I think a lot of fishing is luck. I swear it's all about being in the right place at the right time. I don't care. If you've got the most expensive equipment out there, if you're not in the right place, you're not going to catch them. And
that's right.
It's all about just being there. And that goes back to, the time that's put into it. There's a lot of homework that's got to be done for your area. Like you said, as far as, what's natural in your area, even down to like the eels, like we were talking about. A lot of people wouldn't even know they were in the water or to ever use them for bait.
You can't even buy eels up around here that I know of.
Yeah, with these guys sharing that kind of information, I mean, all these guys we met. We've got one of our members who was actually there was a club around here before years ago, Long Whiskers, and Mr. Tom Slappy. He was a member of them, and he's started fishing with us and had joined our fishing club. And a lot of these guys fish together, but just the I guess what I'm trying to say is the drive that these guys have to share this information and to be as passionate about it as we are. To me, that's what keeps us going, because that's what it's all about, is trying to help each other along. And some of us have problems, and some of them, some of these guys have just jumped right out to help us get our boats on the water. And because I know they know what it's like, and they've all been there. And but it's just awesome to share this kind of information. I look forward to doing a lot of the live shows on our Facebook page, and we're going to start doing a bunch of more videos on the Bottom Feeders page, and on Instagram we'll do a lot more informational videos and product reviews, and or if there's products that somebody wants us to review, or anything like that, send us a message. And we're trying to open the platform up a little bit on the Bottom Feeders YouTube page, get more subscribers on our page, and we'll start doing some live broadcasts too also.
That's one thing I noticed here. That hadn't been too long ago where Instagram opened it up to where you could live broadcast on Instagram. They started out with letting you put on 10-second videos or something.
Yeah.
Then they opened that up to you could put on longer videos. But then I noticed back here about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, now you can live stream on there, which is really great, because for some reason, and I have a social media guru there that I call him, that he has taught me a lot about, the ins and outs of social media and things like that. And I've asked Matt, I says, what do you think the reasons are that we have more followers on Instagram than we do on Facebook? And he told me, he says, because Instagram is more of a picture and video sharing platform, where Facebook is more of an information background platform.
Yeah. I think to me, the Facebook is a little bit more personal, and I think Instagram is a way for people to separate you know, the family content from that. And I mean, not necessarily that, but like you said, it's more picture based, video based. They've got a lot more editing software available directly to the video and the photos and stuff than Facebook. So, but yeah, I've noticed a heavy flux on our Instagram here lately. I mean, just with the short videos that we've posted, you know, I've noticed a lot more followers on Instagram by posting the informational videos. And so as the requests come up for them, and you know, people send us any kind of ideas that they have, we'll definitely be glad to make a video of it. We've got a lot of product reviews that we've done on our page thus far, and I know you said you've done a lot in the past, but yeah, we'll definitely be doing a lot more of those this year.
Right. All right. Well, listen, we've been into this thing here almost an hour, Nick, and it's been fun, but all good things must come to an end. We're going to because of the first of the year coming up, as I said, we're going to do these every other week for now. The next one's going to be on the 5th because of the first, which I think is a Wednesday or Thursday or something. We'll skip that weekend, and then we'll go back to the weekends after that. But it'll be on the 5th. You going to join us?
I'll try and do that for sure. I'll let you know.
All right. Okay. And if not, then have somebody take your place.
Sounds good. I was going to say one of our guys will definitely do it. I look forward to like I said, joining in as much as we can.
Right. All right. Well, I want to thank you for tuning in, everybody. And then Nick, I really want to thank you for everything you've done for Carolina Outdoor Magazine TV. You guys have been really good to us. You know, every time we're down there, you go out of your way to help us out and things like that, and we really appreciate it. Folks, for those of you, you don't have to fish their tournaments. They would like you to, but their Facebook page is Facebook.com/Bottom Feeders Fishing Club. Go and like Nick's page. Your vice president now, who is not with us tonight, is Aaron
Sweat.
Aaron Sweat, and he's the vice president. But these two guys, they put a lot of effort into this thing, and so just go and like their page, whether you catfish or not. They have a lot of things going on there that might interest you. Your Instagram is what? Bottom Feeders Fishing?
It's Bottom Feeders Fishing Club on Instagram also. And
you've got a YouTube page.
And on our YouTube page is Bottom Feeders Fishing Club also. And, you know, our email address.
Okay. So that's easy to remember.
Yep. Our email address is bottomfeedersfishing at gmail.com. So like I said, anybody got any kind of reason to contact us, and we're always looking for different opportunities and people in the area to help out. And if there's, you know, an organization wanting to get a tournament together, wanting to get a group together to fish, teach somebody how to fish, you know, that's what we're all about. And like I said, I appreciate everything y'all have done too, Jim. And thanks for having us on the show.
Well, that's what it's all about, Nick. And I appreciate your friendship. So
yes, sir.
Be sure, guys, to if you're headed down to the Fayetteville area and you want to do some fishing down in the Cape Fear River, get in touch with Nick or some of them guys down there, and they'll put you in the areas where you need to be to catch fish. All right.
Yes. We've got a lot of.
That's a good. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say we've got a lot of these guys who are stationed on Fort Bragg, and you know, a lot of them know people in different areas that'll be coming to Fort Bragg, and you know, these guys are away from home and not able to get out and do anything. So definitely, you know, if you know anybody in the service headed our way, send them over and we'll get them out on the water.
All right. And Cape Fear River is a good river for bass fishing too.
Yes, sir. Yeah, the bass fishing's on right now.
I tried last year. I was going to try to get Victor Lynch, one of our ProStaff members, to go down there with us, and he couldn't make it because he had another obligation. But some of these guys don't know it, but they're going to go down there and they're going to bass fish because you guys got some good bass down there. I think they could do good down there in that river.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that go down the riverside with some really nice bass rigs. I know here and on the upper Cape Fear. There's a lot of bass in the area. I've seen some pretty nice sized bass pulled out of the river right there at Riverside. So,
yeah. All right, guys. So, anyways, anybody who's still there watching us, and you can watch this show after YouTube renders it and processes it and does whatever they do with the thing here. It'll be available on YouTube within probably half hour, 45 minutes. But go to our YouTube channel, which is www.youtube.com/user/the Outdoor Sportsman. Subscribe and our page and comment. And that way you can be sure to know when we're going to do more live streams. But remember that the next live stream will be on January 1st, 2017. It'll be a whole new year. And this was just kind of a thing we wanted to jump in to do before the year went out. And we wanted to start the season here with the Carolina Outdoor Magazine TV Live. So before we go, I want to thank all of our viewers out there. Without you guys, we just couldn't do what we do. There'd be no reason to do what we do. So I want you to know that all of our subscribers, all of our Facebook followers, Instagram followers, folks on Periscope, we really appreciate you following our shows and supporting us. And I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas coming up here this Saturday. I hope you all been good. Maybe Santa Claus will bring you guys some fishing rods and rifles and all kinds of neat stuff. And most importantly, Happy New Year. And like always, I'm Jim from Carolina Outdoor Magazine TV. Thanks for tuning in. And for Nick Jones from the Bottom Feeders Fishing Club, we'll catch you somewhere next time in the great outdoors when we do it all again. Thanks for watching.
See you, Jim.
All right, Nick.